I'm Mike.
I'm Adam.
I'm Kaylee.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Phil.
And this is Stuff and Waffle. 5 friends talking about stuff, and often as not, asking if this is the one with the ice, with frequent references to the fact that we've been doing this nonsense for 2 years.
Very good.
There
You
you
got
go.
all the references in the intro. I like
I
that.
thought, I was working on that.
That was good. It
yeah.
wasn't even shoehorned. That worked quite seamlessly. I like
There
that.
we go, you see.
Yeah, we got a bit of a party episode.
Is this going to be the one with the ice?
No, because we will be reviewing that, but not just yet. It's all right though, because when it is review time, you can watch that one with me.
I'm all right, thanks.
It's the one you love.
No, it's the one I know.
Well, yeah, but not very well.
Well, yeah.
There'll be an entire season of MILF Manor to review by then anyway.
Yeah.
He's brought it up.
No, that's it. We're never going to get through without mentioning it, were we?
It's true.
It's your new favourite show.
Matt, did you Google it?
I didn't. I only listened to that particular episode on my drive home this evening, so I was fortunately spared the opportunity of actually typing that into Google.
Incognito tab, yeah. when you inevitably type it in.
Multi-hop VPN will be deployed.
That's it. Make sure it's one that actually places you in the US though, because then you'll be able to watch it.
Good point.
That's good advice.
No.
That's solid advice.
The way we watched it, I think, is the best. I mean, I know you're not meant to plug other people, but on YouTube, Cinnamon Toast Ken and Buff Pro they help guide you through it.
Yeah, they basically take one for the team, so you don't have to watch the whole thing. They just get the highlights for you with the whole feeling up your own son, going, "Oh yeah, that's him. Yeah, great."
But you can see them just die inside as the show goes on.
Yeah, well, you would, wouldn't you?
Yeah. But don't worry, we'll report back. There'll be more information on this, so don't worry. We'll be your point of contact when you think you're going to get cars. You're going to get MILFs.
We'll rely on you as being the designated point of authority on this topic, Adam.
Oh, it was a bit like when Matt Hancock was in the jungle. It was we had a couple of weekly updates of how many kangaroo bollocks he chewed on.
Everyone was very interested in that.
Yeah. Anyone seeing that little prick suffer, that's lovely. That is. Didn't he? I can't remember, but I think it might have been a kangaroo's vag he had a chomp on as well.
Yes, it was. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Om nom nom.
Chewy. Apparently.
He did pull a funny face, I'll be honest. Right.
Anyway.
I've got a vague order of events. So everyone that's here has obviously been on before and been invited back for a bit of a celebration episode. So what we'll do is we'll go around the room, well, in a virtual sense anyway, catch up on any fleet changes because, well, Mike and I are useless and, well, you've sold a car since we started the podcast and I've done nothing involving a car.
I've sold a car. My good lady has bought a car.
But I'm afraid you can't.
Bought one yet.
Yeah, you can't count that. That's not.
No, I can't. No.
You are not the registered keeper. So.
No, I'm not.
No, naughty.
Yeah, but if you're going to go that way, I'm not the registered keeper of my van, so.
Yes, a previous place that owned it has neglected to file the paperwork, which has been chased up this week, actually.
Oh, dear.
But it does mean that we could have been merrily speeding.
Oh, you should. You get out there.
Yeah. We'll come on to that, though.
Don't talk about bloody speeding tickets.
Oh, good. Right, I'll make a note of
that. Make a note. We should come back to that.
Yeah.
That sounds juicy.
Yeah. I've got that.
With my own gun.
Oh, dear. Right, that's coming back to that. Right. So what we're going to do, we're going to have a catch up on fleets. Well, I know in this room there's going to be moaning about broken cars, and I get the feeling Phil could probably chime in and have a fair old whinge.
Oh no, it's been perfection from one day to the next.
Yeah. Well, no, we know that's not true because we did feature your Volvo.
I've already let the cat out of the bag on that one.
Talk to me about the Volvo.
Well, like I said, we'll get to it. We'll talk to you about it then. Unfortunately, that is a whole segment of this episode, so you have to talk about it. After that, we've got a nice little bit of an interim bit of fun. I am going to ask all of you 10 questions that we should all supposedly know the answer to.
Okay.
This is a little thing that I prepared earlier. I have plucked at random 10 questions relating to the highway code.
Oh, Jesus
Oh,
Christ.
Well, none of us are going to get that, are we?
Hey,
Is this the
I
new
need-
updated bollocks one?
This is the most recent, apparently.
Oh.
So both myself and Mike have moaned heavily about other drivers. Kaylee, you have moaned enormously about other drivers. So now we have to put. Well, no, I don't, because I've written the questions. Well, I say written, pinched from various websites. You have to put your money where your mouth is and go, right, I am a good driver because I know my highway code.
No one from the DVLA is listening to this, are they?
No.
Thank
No.
you,
don't
James.
know, do you? You don't know.
I haven't told you about my new job, have I?
In
Be
fairness,
making notes.
the DVLA is in Wales, and I don't think the internet extends that far just yet.
You've just
Yes.
lost all your Welsh listeners now.
There they go.
Wales.
Still, they're still slowly recovering from the terror of electricity. So we
That's
should
it,
be
yeah.
fine.
Oh,
God,
Witchcraft.
They're going to send their dragons after you.
No, the only dragons they've got are on their flag. Right, that's them dealt with. Mike dealt with the American audience the other day.
Oh, God.
They're gone. They are
Didn't he
gone.
just?
Yeah.
I angered the Russian audience.
Well, that's no great loss.
Well,
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
And Kaylee's reinforced that.
Yes, thank you.
so all in all, we're all over this. So let's first start off then. We've established that Mike and I are useless at buying cars. Well, I say useless. I haven't needed to buy a car. So
You've never been.
I'm hoping to later this year, but it hasn't happened yet. Yeah.
that's right. And we can then see whether you actually do it correctly and buy the S-Type R, or whether you get it wrong and buy something different.
I plan to do it correctly, but we'll come on to that when it happens.
Yeah, don't worry. That's going to present itself. Before I get to Phil, who is obviously going to have changed vehicles since we last spoke,
Not clearly.
obviously, we'll go with. Well, we know that Kaylee bought a van because you stepped in as co-host when Mike was ragged.
Again.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's happened a lot.
that's it. Yeah, he's just
Grotty little man I am.
work on the old immune system there.
Yeah.
Right, you haven't bought anything since your van, but we can sort of do twofold here, where you can go, right, I've not changed my cars, but I'm going to moan about them.
I can, but yeah, I think there's too much to moan about, isn't there?
Well, I don't think I've touched on it of just sort of saying, oh yeah, it's in having,
on my van.
having an elusive thermostat done.
Yeah, an electric thermostat.
Oh yeah, the nonsense witchcraft one that I don't know why they've got that on their engine when thermostats have been working perfectly well all these years, and they went and got a wacky one on there.
Is it because it's blue or something?
No, it's because it's French.
Yeah,
There
that'll do
goes
it.
the French
There
audience.
goes that audience,
Yep.
We're rattling through them here, aren't we?
Oh, yeah. Of half of Europe gone in a minute.
Yep.
That's all right. The Italians are safe. We like the Italians and we like the Spaniards.
Yep.
Yep.
Cuisine, wine, all of that.
Yeah. The occasional car.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, well, we can come on to Spanish cars actually.
Are we just glossing over the fact the Italians can't drive?
Well, no, that's not strictly true. They just don't adhere to any sort of rule.
Yeah, but their accent makes up for it, so shut
mean-
up.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's fair. And then everyone likes pizza. So
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, no, that's all fine. I don't have any issues with them.
Yeah,
but
my van.
yeah, your van. Go on then.
So you rung them and got joyous news.
Mm-hmm.
Needs the timing belt and the water pump done as well.
Well, it doesn't specifically need the timing belt. The water pump's knackered, and while you're in there, you may as well do the timing belt because it's only going to be due in another 5,000 miles anyway.
But how do you know that the water pump needed to be done?
Well, it's the only other bit of the system that moves water around and lets it in and out of things. And the thermostat was now letting water in and out the bits of water that it had, and then they soon realised that no more water was pumping around again.
Okay.
Oh.
Because I was going to say, the only thing that wasn't working was the heater.
No, that wasn't the only thing that wasn't working. That's the thing that you noticed. What
depths of winter?
There was a glaringly obvious one again. It doesn't appear to be an awful lot of coolant in the radiator because nothing's cycling it round.
Was there?
There's bug all in there.
Oh, was that where my coolant was going?
No, it's not gone anywhere. It was all in the system. It just wasn't moving around.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not buggered off. So yeah. So that's now being done.
Yep. My mini window still squeaks.
Yeah, I mean, we live with that.
The driver's. It's not, because I've had people turn around and look at me today going, what the hell?
Well, yeah, I don't have that problem though, because I don't park in a multi-storey car park, which means I have to get a ticket and wind down the window.
People turn around and look at you for different reasons, though, don't they?
It's probably the pink hair, yeah.
Oh no, I think he's talking about me.
Oh.
I meant Adam, and
That's
he's now
to
got
say.
pink hair as well.
No, not at the minute.
He hasn't let me do that yet.
No.
Yeah.
No, I almost had red hair in lockdown, but I decided against it. Eddie took one for the team on that. He was well up for having red hair.
He loved it.
Yeah, he was fine. He really enjoyed that. I would have looked like a colossal bellend. So it's good job that we missed out on that.
And then the Ovlov needs a new gearbox.
Everything.
Yeah. Gearbox would really see it on its way. That'd be fine then. I mean, it's all right at the minute. It's just it does make a grumble here and there, but it's fine.
I like that Ovlov.
And I think it's fine. I think it'll do for the time being, and hopefully it'll do for Phil when he's got his gammy wrist.
Well, I hope so.
Yeah, because you don't want to be operating a bit of stick shift when you.
No, possibly not. I must say, going back to the Berlingo, because I use the same garage, and I've had to visit there recently, and I was funnily enough once or twice, and I was chatting to the bloke, and I saw your van in there, and I said, "Oh, good to see that part's finally come in," because you told me you were waiting for it, and he showed me the thermostat. What an absolutely ridiculous contraption.
Is it tiny?
No, it's colossal. It's a massive piece of plastic with gears and valves and pipes sticking out of it. A thermostat.
Jesus Christ.
A thermostat is supposed to be a little tiny thing that goes inside the coolant hose, surely.
Yeah.
And costs a tenner.
Yeah. No.
Oh, this one does not cost a tenner.
He told me how much it cost.
And it's just ridiculous. It's like over-engineered. It solved a problem that didn't exist. So they've nailed that. Well done.
Very French.
Yeah.
But it is because it's called the Blue HCI or something.
I think they only fit it on those blue engines because they said some of the older ones, you just have a thermostat on it, as you would expect. But
But it's done now.
Tis what it. Well, it's not quite done.
Well, no.
First stage is complete. Yeah, so my Volvo's vaguely all right. It still operates. Not that I've used it. Mini's all right.
Yeah.
It's fine.
The inside's falling out the piece again.
Why?
Back arch pillar thingies, the
well,
coverings are falling off.
Someone cracked those, so that's dreadful.
Yeah, they screwed them in with bolts.
Yeah, I don't understand that. That's proper bodge job. So there we go. You've done both of my segments. So you've updated the fleet and you've moaned about your broken cars. So I'll tell you what then. If we, like I said, before we get to Phil and his monster list, Matt, I can't remember. I don't think you've bought a new car since we last had you on, have you?
No, I most unusually for me, I'm almost into a third year of the same vehicle. It's still going strong. Did hit the 250,000 mile mark on it a few months ago, and it's now up to 258,000 miles. I think I just turned last week. The really good news is that it now has a brand new fresh MOT on it until the 14th of March 2024 as well. So I'm actually fairly, I'm all right. I'm all right. It did.
Remind me what it is.
It's a Jaguar XJ.
Of course.
X358.
Hmm.
The last of the proper shape.
Yeah, it's true. It's the last one that actually looks like what you'd expect a Jag to look like.
Yeah, it's a nice looking car.
Indeed. So it was a tad under 500 quid to get it through the MOT, mainly down to handbrake calipers, which were eye-wateringly expensive. I did also have some voluntary work done on it at the same time. It was time for cam belt, water pump, auxiliary drive belt, etc. So there was another few hundred quid in that direction, but surprisingly cheap. Of course, the great thing with it being it's the 2.7 diesel Ford era Jag, so the same engine that was used in everything at that time. So there are lots and lots and lots of OEM parts available. For instance, the cam belt kit itself was the enormous sum of £123.
Yeah, you can't knock that actually.
No.
Is it giving you any other bills at all?
Well, no, unpleasant. I did. No, nothing. Nothing that it sprung on me. I've had to spend £15 or so on a bottle of touch-up paint because I'm an idiot, and I did have to replace a front tire because I'm an idiot. But apart from
same
that,
incident.
No, separate incidents. Yeah, decided to slam the front near side wheel into quite a tall curb and rip the sidewall off the tire. And decided to just get a little bit too close to a brick wall whilst turning right at one juncture. So I did have a nice scuff on the front bumper and the front wing, but I'm very adept with a small brush. So it's what my friend Mr. Gould would call a 20-yarder. He looks absolutely perfect if you don't get too close.
Okay, there you go. That's fine. We'll admire it from afar.
But it still runs, and it's yes, I'm doing fairly reasonable mileage traveling around the UK as I have been now for the last year, and very good fuel economy, and I have no complaints.
Comfy place to sit as well, I'd imagine.
Not bad at all. Okay. And the great revelation last summer, as I think I touched on when I was with you before, but it's the first car I've had many cars in the past with heated seats, but this was the first car I'd had with cooled seats, and they were absolutely wonderful last summer, and they're definitely going on the list of whatever comes next needs to have those.
I've never sampled it.
One of those things that you just didn't know you needed until you realised that you actually can't live without it.
No, I've never had a cold gust.
Not on purpose, anyway.
No, you prefer them hot gusts, don't you?
Apparently so.
Yeah.
Which reminds me, while we're on the topic of
what?
No, because you're saying, like Matt was saying there, we got the lovely cooled seats when it was all getting a bit hot and bothered in the summer. That was when I decided to go and do an airport run when it was the hottest day of the year in a car with distinct lack of aircon. It's just hot as balls in here.
Didn't you do that with one of my cars? You borrow my Focus that didn't have aircon or something and do a an incredibly hot day, travel a long way, and
Yeah, that
almost die.
That was well. That was exacerbated by the fact that there was part of my journey was a delightful trip around about a third of the M25, and I was quite parched. It was quite a warm day. The aircon wasn't particularly good in that, or worked at all at the time, and I wanted to do a non-stop drive. I was going from home to Colchester, so that's a good 5-hour stint. That, and I'd got a drink with me, but I thought, I tell you what, I don't want to introduce a piss into the mix here. So I'd done all of M5, all of M4, and I'd just pulled on to the M25, and I thought, I'm going to treat myself in a minute. I'm gonna have like a can of drink, but no, I thought I'll get a bit further round. So I did. I joined at what is it? I joined at 15, and I was driving all the way around 28, and I got just past 27, and I was like, right, I can't hold it anymore. I need to get a drink in me. I am gagging. So I chugged a can, and then ground to a halt, and the traffic didn't move for 3 hours.
Oh.
And about an hour in, I thought, I don't think Phil wants me to piss on his car.
You'd have been correct.
Yeah, so it was a fair assumption. So I was sort of holding it, and then I thought, the traffic will move in a minute. We'll be all right in a minute. We'll be all right. And the problem is, we were right next to... it was just a concrete wall because there was a bridge going over the motorway. And I said, I can't just go and piss in the hedge here. And I thought, I can't be uncouth and just stand next to a load of other people's cars and just piss against a concrete wall.
Why not? That's never stopped you before.
Well, yeah, but I was being courteous. And then another hour passed, and I went, I'm just going to piss against that concrete wall, I'm afraid.
It's just no choice.
No, that was it. There was just an unpleasant moment where I just sort of went and did my business, and then sheepishly walked back and got back in the car and pretended that no one was staring.
Yeah, but I bet others were looking and going, "Oh, I wish I had the balls to do that."
Yeah, well, look, see, he's done it. He's done it. Yes.
Yeah. Any married couples in the car with the man going, "Well, look, he just did it. Why can't I go and do it?" No, you're not doing that in public. That's what that will be.
You're not as uncouth as he is.
Yeah. Look at him; he's an animal. Yeah. So that's grotty. How did we get to that? I don't
Cooled
even know.
seats.
Cooled seats, I
Oh,
think. Matt
there
was
you
saying how good they are in his Jag.
Does it actually blow air conditioning through them, or is it just normal air?
It is very cold air, so it must be cooled by the same process that cools the air that comes out of the vents. Quite how it gets from the front to the backside, I'm really not sure, but it does, and it works very well.
An elaborate pipe to the backside.
Some sort of substantial pipe, I would have thought. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Very good. Well, let's move on quickly from that.
Yeah.
Right. Phil. Right. Well, I'm looking at the list.
Yes, I've pre-armed you to save time.
Yeah, and obviously we did have a good old stint. We covered a lot of it last time.
Picked out some select options.
That's it. So I'm looking at it now, and I think at the last time we recorded, you were up to and including the Princess.
Yes, I had the Princess and the Octavia VRS, I think.
Oh, so
that sounds right.
Yeah, that was still current. So, in true Phil style, on this document you've sent to me, which is I appreciate enormously, we have an additional 7 vehicles to cover.
What? I haven't actually counted them. It's not 7.
7 since the Princess. Yes.
How long's it been? 2 years? Yeah. Since
yeah.
you haven't. Well, not just shy of 2 years since I last came on. Yeah.
We've only been doing this for 2 years, so it must be
not quite the 2-year mark, but yes, you need to fill in the blanks, as it were.
7 vehicles.
I hadn't counted. I really didn't think it was that many. My God, I've got a problem.
Right.
You see, admitting it is the first step.
Have you got your list open, or do you want?
I can see it. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Let's take let's take it in from your van that you hated with a passion.
Well, that I would have had that at the same time as well. Actually,
I don't. Yeah, but I don't think we talked about it.
No, we didn't.
Probably for good reason. I mean, you hated it. You know my opinion on Volkswagen vans.
Well, yeah. I'd had a camper van before, a Toyota Hiace, which I didn't go into detail about. That sadly had to be put down when it turned out it didn't really have any chassis left.
Is that the one that came to my rescue?
No, that was a later one. That one was the Granvia import that I had to get rid of because the eye-watering cost of parts and the fuel economy. But yeah, that was a good van, actually. I like that one.
Yeah, it was a nice one. Mind you, the white one wasn't too bad.
The white one was tatty, but it was okay. But the Hiaces rot underneath. They're brilliant vans, but the chassis go on them quite badly. And yeah, I did a very long road trip for 2 weeks around Scotland and back, covered 2,000 miles. Blew out a tyre, took it to the tyre centre the next day, and they phoned me and said, "Are you sure you want to put tyres on this?"
It's always what you want.
Well, I said, because it's a garage and the tyre place, I'd said to them, "Look, I know it's a little bit rough underneath. While you've got it up on the lift, can you just have a little poke and see what you think?" They took that literally, and there was a pile on the floor underneath it when I came back, including a hole in one of the suspension mounts you could fit your hand through.
Oh.
Yes. So that went to a breakers, and they actually pay really well for it because the engines in those old ones go off to Africa or something. So, but yeah, I wanted another camper van.
Well, you missed out a crucial step between discovering rust and sending it off to the breaker.
Oh yeah, it went to live in a mechanic's car park for a while.
Yeah,
because
and then
quite a few of the parts on the Hiace fitted on the Granvia because they're basically the same body shell.
Yeah, and then someone said to me, "Oh, do you mind popping down because it's got the boot struts that lift the hatch up higher?"
Yeah, because the Granvia's got these piddly little things that lift it just high enough that you smash your head on it every time. Whereas the Hiace had big, beefy, strong ones that, much better.
Yeah, so
easy.
Yeah,
it's only 4 bolts.
Of course, mate. Yeah, I'll pop down and give you a hand.
Oh, was this where you were giving birth to yourself?
Yeah. What you hadn't factored in is while undoing said bolts and removing struts, going, the old hatch on a big old van doesn't half weigh a bit when you got some gullible dickhead holding it up with arms turning to jelly.
Heavy, aren't they?
Yeah, that was good. And plus, it was cold and raining, so removing the bolts and then putting them back in again with the more feeble struts, that was what an ordeal that was. I had funny aches the next day.
I have put you through a lot.
Yeah, well, it's fine. It gives us a funny story, doesn't it?
Yes. I wasn't mean. I didn't take my time swapping the parts over.
No,
I think it felt like you did.
or jab you in the ribs, which it did cross my mind.
Yeah, but you were in the line of fire. I would have dropped the door on you.
I could have moved out of the way.
Yeah, probably. But no, the only dawdling we had with the bolts was when we realised that not only were our hands sort of wet, they were also freezing cold, and trying to operate big metal bolts, it just doesn't work, does it?
That's just part of the course working on old cars in the winter. It's just hateful.
Yes.
Yeah.
All very silly. But yeah, there we go. That's where the need, that and the Granvia going the way of the either scrapyard or
Granvia I just sold on, but
yeah,
that's still going. I think bloke loves it, but yeah, parts are a nightmare now for that thing. But yeah, no, a friend of a friend was selling a T4, Volkswagen T4, which had already been converted to a camper. And I thought, lovely. It's cheap for one of those. Really, really cheap. What could possibly go wrong?
Dare we ask how cheap?
£2,000.
Oh,
Which for a Volkswagen van already converted to a camper was tantamount to theft.
yeah, but did that not clue you onto it?
Well, friend of a friend, you think he knows what he's doing. He's converted vans before, and he came recommended. And the interior conversion
to be
was
a priority
lovely.
criteria for your vehicles.
Was what?
Phil. I say cost does seem to be a priority criteria for most of your vehicles.
What a terrible thing to say. True, but still. Yes, cost does tend to be a factor.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yes. The trouble is, cost of entry is not always cost of ownership.
Very true.
Participating often costs more than entering, but yes. And it didn't start well because here's a top tip for your listeners when you're buying a used car. Check the spare wheel. Because a number of times I've thought, oh, just in case I ever need it, I'll pull it out of the cradle underneath or whatever and just check. Or have a look under the boot floor, and either the tools are missing, the tyre's flat, the tyre's missing. This one was different. I wound the cradle down and thought, where is the spare wheel? And I looked under, it's like, it's still there. When the guy had fitted the wooden floor to the camper and put screws through the floor, he had screwed the spare tyre to the floor.
What?
Yes.
That's impressive.
Yes.
Yes.
That's kind of set the scene. So he was very good at the internal conversion stuff. That no problem with that at all. That was lovely. Mechanically, it was horrific. It was delivered to me. I had a guy bring it over because it was a long way away, and I was told it's fully running and driving and ready to go. The gear linkage was so seized on it, I would have called it undrivable. Because when with Volkswagens, you push the gear lever down and across to the left and forward to get reverse.
Yeah,
that was all seized up.
So you go backwards, do you?
Well, basically, you get the gear. I mean, the gear change on those is horrible anyway. It was impossible to tell what gear you were getting. So at traffic lights, it was quite exciting because if you went for first, you would generally either get reverse or third. But you wouldn't know until you lifted the clutch up what you got.
Oh,
the former being terrifying for the car behind you.
Yes, that happened a couple of times. Oh shit! Yeah. So I started using second until I fixed that. I mean, it wasn't hard to fix, but that kind of set the scene as well. And basically, a lot of bills, a lot of visits to a local Volkswagen specialist who started to recognise the van.
Never good.
Culminating a intermittent starting problem that I took it to them for by, of course, standard used car thing. It behaved perfectly, and they couldn't diagnose it, and they said you'll have to bring it back when it's doing it more often. And I rang them the next day and said I'm stuck in Sainsbury's click and collect. It's dead. Is now a good time to have it towed over to you? That was embarrassing. They had to, the staff had to help push it out the way.
Oh god!
So that went away. It was also pretty rusty, so that I don't think I ever went away with it. I just started to absolutely hate it, and I sold it for slightly more than I paid for it. But yeah,
in fairness, you left a lot of your stuff in it, so you lost.
I forgot. I forgot I'd left some stuff in the storage bins under the seats, and the guy I sold it to was not a character I ever wished to meet again. And when I saw it come up for sale a few weeks later with nice shiny paintwork and all the rust magically gone for 3 times the price that I'd sold it to him for, all my stuff was still in it. Not that there was much of it, but still, it was like, you could have maybe dropped me a note, mate. But never mind.
Was it like pants and socks and stuff?
Nothing quite that personal, fortunately. But there was like camping chairs and a few sort of tools and things that had the value added up a bit because I was looking around for them. I thought, oh bugger, I know where they are.
Oh, that was it because we needed jump leads for something, and you're like,
that's right.
For goodness sake, they're in the bloody van,
which sold 2 or 3 weeks ago, and the guy never offered to return them. But hey ho, never mind.
You said he was a bellend, so
Yeah, I wouldn't particularly want to meet him in the pub.
Okay, you can have them back. Just tell me when you want to go.
It's just non-stop moaning about it.
I couldn't see you buying the camper van off me, to be honest.
Not off you, no.
No, thank you. Actually, they generally vehicles leave me in considerably better condition than when I first get.
Yeah,
but this one certainly did. But yeah, it was an absolute heap. It ran like crap when it was cold, and 2 separate mechanics said it's probably blown a piston ring. So I sold it with that advertised fault, which when he re-advertised it for 3 times the price, that fault had magically disappeared, along with it gaining a full service history, apparently.
impressive.
Which is interesting, because the only history it had was the repair bills from when I owned it.
Full service history.
Yes.
Well, you can print anything out these days.
Exactly. It was quite inventive.
Yeah.
But yeah, no,
scribbled in the book.
Yeah. But yeah, that one's consigned to the history books, and I don't miss that at all.
That's gone.
Does remind me of one thing actually with the Jag. Just to interject for a minute, there were 2 items on the MOT last year that were advisories, which I did absolutely nothing about, which had magically disappeared this year.
A bit of self-healing, very good.
Yeah, absolutely.
That. Yeah, good. I like that. Right, so next one on the list then is a car that actually 4 out of the 5 of us are quite familiar with. Because we've all spent time in it, either passengers or driving. And that'll be your Honda.
The Honda CR-V, yes, because sadly the Skoda Octavia that I love so much died. Developed some hideous running issue and got very sadly sold off for spare parts, and I don't think it ever saw the road again. And I just went looking, and unfortunately this is when used car prices had gone through the roof. So yeah, I basically ended up with whatever was in my limited price range, and I'd had a Honda CR-V, Mark 1 Honda CR-V before, so I bought another one. Yeah. And it was actually quite a lovely car.
Yeah,
not very interesting, but it was a nice car.
Yeah,
very reliable. Never gave me any issues.
Yeah, because we used it for a road trip when we did.
We went to the Haynes Breakfast Club, didn't it?
Yeah, we went to the Haynes Breakfast Club
did,
and sung that in the car park because it was a Japanese car. And it was
I was very upset. People didn't seem to be paying it any attention.
No, I didn't. I think I saw one photo on Instagram someone took of it.
Why is this in here? Yeah.
Kaylee borrowed it for a week.
Yes.
Did not like it at all. I'd seen them being driven around, and I love the design of them and stuff like that.
No one's ever said that.
No, I did actually. I thought for a 4x4, I thought they were quite nice, but driving it, oh my god, I couldn't wait to get out of it.
It had the wrong engine, I think, in the grand scheme of things.
No, it was just sitting in the seat. The front windscreen felt too close to you, and it was just, it made me feel sick.
Yeah, I'm very sorry. I should be much more discerning with the next free car I give you.
Can it work this time, please? You know.
That one worked fine. There was never anything wrong with that.
How did I get into the boot?
Oh, by pulling the handle off. Everyone did that once.
Yes, the previous owner had bashed it around a bit and broken some bits on it. Yes.
Yes. But as soon as you use the trick, that's fine. But yeah, there was nothing wrong with that at all. I thought it was all right.
No, but I changed jobs and had to do a lot more driving, and it's a thirsty thing, and so I sold that. And unfortunately, the rust got to it because I heard from the second owner. I sold it quite cheap, and the second owner had loads of use out of it and thoroughly enjoyed it, and then went for an MOT, and it turned out to have no sills left on it.
Well, that's all they do, though. So
no, they do. Yeah, they've got plastic trims all around the arches and the sills, which hide all sorts of horrors. And unfortunately, that one is now bean tins. But so that's sadly gone.
Right. Next one on the list is a car that features on your list several times.
I have a problem.
One of these days you'll find a good one.
Bit harsh.
I'm going to stop talking to you in a minute, Kelly.
I love this car. I love it.
You didn't, not this specific one.
I don't think I saw it.
No, you didn't say the what. Hang on, there you go. That's the one you liked. I'm pointing out.
Which
What colour was that one?
The one that you liked was the silver one, and this one, the most recent one, was the black one, the black 1.7 Puma.
glorious vehicle.
I only drove that one once, actually.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Mike certainly drove it.
I drove it quite well because we had it for several weeks, and Dawn liked it so much he bought one.
Can't say, you can't give greater praise than that, really.
No.
I mean, more praise would have been liking it so much you bought your one.
But... you say that.
That
nearly
happened. Very unusually for me. I think I said in the end, I thought about it and said it's not for sale.
Yes, you turned us down. We would have bought that one.
Which is interesting because a normal Phil rule is everything's for sale.
For the right price.
Yeah.
I don't get attached to stuff.
No, that's fair. However, this one has already gone.
It has. To be honest, it was one of those ones. I bought it to fill a gap as a second vehicle because with older vehicles, I like to have two on the go for safety. And I thought, I'd love these things. And this one came up for sale, and I thought this is going to be the last time I can afford one because the prices are creeping up. And because of that, they're not an investment at this point, but your money's fairly safe on them.
Yes,
and the idea was I'm not going to do many miles in it. I can just enjoy it on summer days and keep it safe off the road and the salt and all the rest of it. Bought from an enthusiast who had several of them. It was in reasonable condition, but the arches were going on it, and it had quite a lot of filler in it, but they often do. It drove beautifully, and I had it for about 18 months actually. But again, because I changed jobs, I started using that every day. Because my job involves being on a farm at the end of a dirt track, it was getting the miles piled on it. It was getting driven in the winter salt. It was getting plastered in mud, and it's just not fair to it. It was going to die. It was visibly dissolving while I had it. And I had welding done on it, and I had repairs done on it, but I did love it, and I'd have happily kept it, but it was one of those cars that I can't keep it in any sort of condition. It's going to die if I keep it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. I sold it to an enthusiast only a few weeks ago, actually.
Yeah, that's quite
only recently left.
Yeah, that's a recent transaction. The next one on the list after that is... do we need to skirt over that one?
A van came and then went.
Yep.
Via a ditch. Yes.
Yep.
Yes. An unfortunate mishap on a very bad stretch of road. So yes, that one came and went very quickly. Another high ace that was going to be a camper but never quite got there.
That's fine.
No one was harmed, so
no.
Fortunately we came out of that all right.
Yeah, that's it. The only thing that of note on that is the insurance company needed some documentation, which I kind of provided for you. But for some reason they wanted an official electrical certificate, thinking actually instead of it being a van, it was a house.
Well, it was registered to them as a camper, and it was partway through the conversion process. And yes, they were faffing around an awful lot with paying out what it was actually worth. And they suddenly turned around and said, "Can we have an electrical installation certificate?" Which isn't a thing for a camper van generally, and certainly wasn't for that one because it didn't have any electrics in it at that point. So yes, you kindly made me one in paint, I think, didn't you?
No, I didn't even go that far.
I was on your phone.
That was it. I Google image search, found a blank certificate, and then wrote the important bits with my finger on the WhatsApp.
It was beautiful.
And sent it to you.
It was.
Just forward that on to the insurance company.
Yeah. No, it worked because they did end up paying out what it was worth. I don't think I actually sent that to me in, but Yeah. All was well that ended well.
Well, that's all right. As long as we got it saved somewhere. If we ever need any documentation for vans again,
I shall come to you.
That's it. We can just change the reg on it or something. It's fine. Not an issue.
Nothing like admitting to insurance fraud on a podcast.
That wasn't insurance fraud. I was.
How is that not fraud?
I was certifying that there was electricity in the van
based on no knowledge.
I'd been in the van. It definitely had electric when I was there.
Fortunately, I never had to resort to sending it, but I'll keep it by just in case.
Another van after that, not one that you want to go camping in.
No, because I'm also fixing up a house. Yes, I needed. Well, weirdly, it's very hard to get building supplies into a Ford Puma.
Yeah, that won't work. So yeah, you ended up with a Renault Kangoo of what vintage are we talking? Oh,
2003.
2003. Yeah, that's it. So yeah, grotty little Kangoo. You bought for pence in the grand scheme of things, as I recall.
Well, again, van prices have gone insane, and I only paid a few £100, which should have been a warning. But I knew this was one. I knew it was going to be a heap. But I thought, as it runs, it drives, it has a long MOT, it can do the jobs I need it to do. But it developed. I cannot even remember what it was, but it had to go to the garage for something. And it took them a while to sort it out. And they were down the end of my road, and I went to chat to them one day. So, "Oh, you're getting on with the Kangoo then?" And he was talking to me, going, "I'm sure we've seen this van before."
Oh, goodness sake.
And and we talked, and he was like, and he started describing the problems it had previously that I knew the previous owner had fixed. And I was like, "Yes, that's the van." He said, "Oh, yeah, we never did get to the bottom of that. The owner sold it in the end because they got so fed up with it constantly breaking." And it turned out that was 2 or 3 owners ago.
It's gone well.
And they did end up fixing it. They also cocked up something and did a bit of extra free work on it. I didn't ask them to do it, but I got a bit annoyed with them because it ended up spending so long with them because they kept messing things up on it. And in the end, they sorted it and did a couple of other little jobs on it for me. So that worked out right. And it did the jobs it needed to do. And then it went off to a new home. And it always felt like a vehicle that was just about to explode. It never felt like a solid, reliable vehicle, but I do like a Kangoo still.
You do. It's not your first one, is it?
No, I had an older one before. This one, once the issues it had were sorted, at least temporarily, it was actually pretty good. I still really quite liked it. Just that was not a particularly good example.
I don't think any are a good example.
It'd have been well used.
Well, they often are.
Is that van the same one that's across the road that the Weird Twins use? Well, the Weird Twins' dad.
You're going to have to explain that.
I was going to say that there's a story there.
Right. Yes, it is, but they've obviously got the car version of it with tuck windows. But yes, the twins are weird, as is the father. Phil, you did encounter him once, actually, at the end of our road. If people get the turning into the road slightly wrong, they end up on the wrong side of the road. And he got it. He didn't turn tight enough. And then there was a lot of stupid grinning and arm waving to say sorry.
Oh, yeah.
And then
he just sort of missed the corner and drove straight at me. Yeah,
that's the one. Yeah. That's
he seemed to find the whole thing quite confusing, but funny.
He's just a strange one. And just for the record, it's not Captain Car Parking Space either. That's a couple of doors down.
We know all about him.
Oh, and they've only got 2 cars at the moment, so that parking space is empty.
Oh, I wanted to ask about that this evening. I haven't heard anything for a few weeks.
It's still ongoing. I wasn't allowed to park in the space the other day because we came back I don't know where we'd been, and I joked, "Oh, I'm going to park there." Like, don't be a tit.
Our driveway was empty, and we were in a Mini.
Yeah, but it's the principle, isn't it?
Well-
It's just to wind him up because he'll lie awake sweating that his car's not in it.
You should have done it. You should have done it.
I think
He's
his.
let us down.
No, it's not a Jag. What is it?
Yeah, it's a Jag.
I think his Jag's off getting remapped.
It's
Yes,
a Jag XF, isn't it?
Yeah, he keeps saying, "I've got, I'm going to get remapped." Like, why?
And then the best thing was they're going to get their what's the big blue thing?
They got a VW T6.
That's going to get remapped as well.
Yeah, so because what makes a lot of sense is kind of let's get more performance out of a big heavy van, so that our fuel bill is even more than it already is. Well done. Round of applause. That means you can just buy some more shorts. Oh,
But
can't afford real trousers.
They are going to get another car. Don't worry.
Yes, yeah. The son is now old enough to drive, or
No,
it
in a
will
few
be very
months,
soon.
yeah.
So there'll be a fourth car in the mix. So I'll be parking any vehicle I can in the wrong place. Just
Do you want me to
wind them
lend
up.
you a couple?
Yeah. If I tell you what, if you need a bit of space in the driveway, just nip round, leave it here. Ideally, if we leave it a good few weeks, so the batteries goes flat. So if he asks us to move it, go no chance.
Oh,
Battery's dead.
perfect. That's a good idea.
I just won't leave you the keys.
Yeah, that'll do.
Oh, sorry, he's off around India at the moment.
Yeah.
He's like miles away from any internet or.
Yeah, so he's a constant source of entertainment. But like the other day, he came knocking on the door, didn't he?
Did he?
Yeah, he wanted to talk to you, thankfully.
Oh, that was about the driving instructor. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. The only time he's spoken to me in recent times is I don't know if I said it on here, but it was when I couldn't get into the Mini. It was so frozen, and I was in a huff trying to get to work.
You did tell us all about that. Yeah.
It is insightful thing of coming over in his shorts going, don't know what the fuss is about. So it's -6. Stop, grow up. And he's like, oh, just yank the door. Like, yeah, it's a pillarless door. Well done, dickhead.
Yeah,
If I
that's
yank
going
that,
to break it.
Listen to the tearing sound of the rubber seal.
I don't think there is any rubber seal at the moment. That's probably why it squeaks.
It's just, I just got no. He just annoys me. He really does.
You love him.
Yeah, but then again, I turned up at your front door a few weeks ago wearing shorts, and you opened the door, didn't say anything, looked me up and down. Just the look on your face was beyond disgust. It was worth it just for that.
I wasn't happy. There's no need for it. I mean, it's not the summer. Just.
This was when it was freezing cold, though. I was in the living room under a blanket.
But Phil has beautiful legs.
Awkward.
Yeah, there is that.
We'll let you go and have your own private conversation after this, then, if that's okay.
I would say thank you, Matt, but I
don't know.
I don't know.
That's a different podcast entirely. That.
Oh my goodness me! Right, we're rattling through them. We're getting there now. Right,
Last two.
We've got another
marathon.
Is it a Toyo Hiace again, by any chance?
It is.
Do you like these by any chance?
I do. I'd still have the first one if it had any flaws left.
Yes,
no.
And now this one, you've actually utilised it in the camping sense.
Oh yes, I bought it converted and then took it to France about 4 days after I bought it.
That was it. Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
And I came back from France and ripped the conversion out because it was horrific. But it was very much a homebrew conversion, and it worked. It was comfortable, but what little electrics were put in it and gas and all that was not done well.
Gas.
So, it had a little gas cooker in it, but nothing was fixed down properly. And
mind you, we've actually on the topic of the gas cookers in your vans, we did have an issue, didn't we? With your Granvia, with your atrocious sense of smell.
God, that was years ago, wasn't it? Yeah, one of the little butane canisters leaked, didn't it?
Yeah, because we got back to the van of an evening, and I opened the door to get.
We weren't both sleeping in it together, I should add.
No.
Yeah.
He was in the van. I was busy gassing myself in the tent.
Tenting.
Yes. Yeah, I opened the door and went, "Whoa, don't go in there, and certainly do not light a match." And you stuck your head in and going, "Oh, what's wrong with that?"
Oh God.
Oh dear.
I did notice it afterwards, but yes, it was a bit gassy. I think it was cheapy gas bottles, little gas cylinder things, cartridges, I think called. But yeah, I only get decent ones now.
Yeah, it's not so good. But yeah, no, you've so you've gutted the current one, and what state is it in
it's
at the
coming
minute?
back together. It's coming back together. It's nearly usable again. This is the time to do it. And yeah, many more trips away are planned. So yeah, no, I really like it. It's for me, it's insanely modern as well because it's on a 57 plate.
Well, you say insanely modern. I mean, that's a very good segue onto the current vehicle. This is probably the most modern fleet you've had in some time.
This is actually, yes, one of the most recent vehicles I've ever. In terms of used cars, yes, they are the two most recent vehicles I own, are the two I currently have. Yes.
And we come on to the final one, which is well documented on this podcast. Not only the collection paper.
Yes. Yes, because this was a replacement for the Puma. I needed something a bit more economical, a bit more practical, and I ended up buying down in about 40, 50 miles away, wasn't it? It was a nice diesel Volvo V50, which not the most exciting vehicle I've ever owned, but I've actually grown to really like it.
Yeah,
but it's had a few issues. I bought it from a farmer, which, given that I now work on a farm, I didn't see as a problem. It hasn't been really, because it's been well maintained and well looked after, but the interior did need a lot of cleaning.
You keep saying this
to bring it up to the level of mildly grubby, which is where it's currently at.
You think I got in it and drove it home that night in the dark, thinking it's probably fine.
Yeah, but you're grotty.
What is this slander?
Just saying.
Not slander if it's true.
Fine. Oh dear. But yes, a bit grotty inside. Couple of little issues.
Couple of little issues, yeah. Well, this is the thing, because when I bought it, I knew it needed A, a clean, and B, it needed probably a tyre or two on the back and a wheel alignment. So I took it to the garage and got the tyres and said, "Can you do a wheel alignment?" And they said, "Oh, it needs a 4-wheel alignment. You have to take it to a proper garage, not a tyre. The tyre place couldn't do it." So took it to the garage and said, "Well, you got it. I don't know when the fuel filter was last done. The exhaust is rattling and the alternator belt's got a little squeak. So make the car really nice and you just do those little jobs." Yeah, no problem. They rang me back a few days later and said, "Right, I've been hesitating to call you."
Oh, that's a good start.
Here's the list.
Oh, yes, there was a list.
Oh, God.
Yeah, he said, rear wheel alignment. He said, "We haven't done it because there's a few issues that need resolving first with various suspension parts that are either worn or seized. And the alternator needs replacing because the squeaky belt is actually a seized pulley. So that's quite a big, well, not a big job, but it's not just tightening a belt." All in. And he kept on listing parts and listing jobs, and I thought, "Yeah, get to the price." And he kept going, and I could tell he was stalling. I thought, "God, it's going to be near $1,000, isn't it?" I was already preparing myself that it's going to be near £1,000. And I was prepared, and he finally got to the price, and he took a deep breath and went £1,800.
And how much did you buy the car for?
A lot less than that.
Yeah.
Not much more than half of that.
Jesus.
That's exactly what I said to him on the phone. Yeah.
Probably get more in scrap.
And well, it turns out they're a very good garage, but they're very by the book, and everything is done fully properly. And looking at the price, it was OEM parts and all the rest of it. It's like, this is a 15, 18-year-old car with 180,000 on it. Let's be sensible here. So I took it to the other garage I normally use,
Our garage.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Second opinion. I mean, he doesn't have all the wheel alignment gear and all that, but he knows other garages that can. So I said, look, second opinion before I write this off and go and cry in the corner.
After he finished laughing.
Well, he was gobsmacked by the builds I showed, by the quote, because I showed it to him, and he had another mechanic from a garage around the corner, and they both looked at it and sort of, what? And ended up getting the whole thing fixed for about a third of that.
Jesus.
So that'll do. But it lives and all is well.
It lives. I'm actually still waiting to pick it up because I was going to do the alternator myself, but because the weather's been crap and everything, I gave up in the end and just you do it. So it went back to him. It had the suspension bits and the alignment done, and it drives so much nicer for that now.
That's
the alternator should be done, but I'm just waiting to pick it up now. Hopefully in the next day or two. But I really like it, and it's tatty and scruffy enough that I don't have to worry about it.
But it's a nice place to be, though. Yeah, you say it's a bit tatty and scruffy, but it's actually quite pleasant inside.
Oh yeah, it's nice inside. It's got a few dents and it's scuffed up and the paint's pretty tatty. But I like that because I don't have to worry about it.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
What you'll put it through.
It's got heated seats. Never mind your cooled seats. I'm just blown away by heated seats.
Yeah, you are. It is one of the poshest things you've ever owned.
By far and away, including the old Jag XJ40, because that didn't have all the kit that this thing's got.
No, you are spoiled now.
I've got to be honest. Given that I used to work in tech, I was bewildered by some of it, and you were having to explain some of it to me.
Yeah, it's a worry sometimes with you in tech. Like you've not been.
There are a lot of buttons.
Oh my goodness me! And they call me Grandad. So right, that brings us bang up to date. So we've had you catch up on your fleet, and you've moaned about your broken cars, both hand in hand.
Well, the only gap to fill there actually is you glossed over the Princess.
Oh yeah, because that was current at the last time.
I still had it at the time, yes. Yeah. But I seem to recall I said I was thinking it was time for it to go because I kind of finished it.
Yeah, that's it. Because you'd concentrated on mechanicals, and it was kind of cosmetic left, and you were done.
It needed a lot of body work to make it really nice, and I wasn't going to get into that. No, that ended up. It didn't sell for anywhere near what I'd hoped because I timed it perfectly. I bought it when classic car prices went through the roof, and I sold it when they dropped back to normal levels. So, yay!
We've all worked there. Well done.
Yep,
to be honest, I treat it as it was a project. I learned a lot doing it. I enjoyed it. It kept me entertained for a while. I'm not bitter about it, but yeah, I lost a fair bit on it given all the work I did on it. But still. I sold it to a guy who was absolutely made up with it, and he drove it from Devon back to Kent in one go.
Jesus.
Which was
good.
It
made it.
And the following day on Twitter, there was a photo of it of going, God blimey, you don't see these very often. And I did a double take, went, what? Not only is it brown, that's a registration I recognise.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was...
Yes.
I do love car Twitter sometimes.
That was a horrible brown.
No, I wouldn't
have that. It was glorious. I wouldn't have that. No, it was lovely.
I won't have that. That's glorious. Right. So, we are bang up to date now.
We are.
And as promised, before we draw a close to proceedings, you now get to test your knowledge of highway code.
So this is going to be really bad.
This is what I hoped for, because I was skimming through some of these and went, oh God.
Do we need pen and paper?
You can have pens and paper.
I'll just write it down on my phone.
Okay, you'll do it on your phone. Right, that's okay. Right, are we all prepared? It's only 10. They're multiple choice because they were basically lifted from fake theory test questions. I'd like to think that some of these are fairly obvious, and I'd be very upset if there are some wrong answers on some of these.
You're never going to get in the car with me again if I get any of these wrong, even though I am the better driver.
Well,
ooh, the gauntlet has been thrown down.
Which is fine, and I am not about to get in a domestic on a podcast.
No, carry on. We'll wait.
Haley's played the Joker.
Yeah, that's it. So no, I'm just going to go I'm just going to give you a little rub on the arm. Going, of course, dear.
Not patronising at all.
No, not at all. Right.
No.
Oh,
So
dear.
here we go. In no particular order, but yeah, these are multiple choice as well, so it's not utterly mean.
And you said there's 10.
10 questions. So, question 1. From what age can you apply for a provisional license? A, 15 years and 9 months.
Oh, God, there's months.
Oh, come on.
B, 16 years old. Or C, 17 years old. Let me know when you've got an answer and I'll
This is
move
the
on.
first question and I already hate you.
Didn't you hated him before the first question, didn't you?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I was thinking about doing some sort of quiz type thing. I thought, right, it's not fair to do cars because that's mean on Kaylee because we're all a bit Rain Man sometimes.
Sometimes.
It's not fair to do James Bond because
You're Rain Man sometimes.
because if I'm writing it, then it's only Mike who's going to win that. I can't do cars of the big and small screen because Phil hasn't watched anything. So I thought, I'll tell you what, let's do something that we all should know.
Should know. Yes,
yeah.
maybe.
Which document? Oh, sorry. Question 2. Which document names a car's registered keeper? Now, this one, I hope isn't a genuine question because the answers are A, the V5, or C, to be technical, B, DVLA, or C, HMRC.
Okay.
Wonderful.
I bet it is.
Yeah, that one I wasn't as mean, that one. Right, so question 3. Unless shown otherwise, what is the speed limit on a single carriageway that has street lights? Is it A, 30 miles an hour, B, 40 miles an hour, or C, 50 miles an hour? That was a confident button press there. I heard that.
Did you hear that from
yeah, I got
over
that.
here?
He
All
knows
way.
the answer, that. Right, question 4. You should leave at least a 2-second gap between your vehicle and the one in front when conditions are A, wet, B, good, or C, foggy. There's much more silence around
It's
that.
intense concentration here.
Yeah, I
do
think
that one again.
You like no again? Yeah, that's fine. Question 4: you should leave at least a 2-second gap between your vehicle and the one in front when conditions are A, wet, B, good, C, foggy.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. Okay.
Mhm.
Now this one's a bit meatier, so bear with me. At a puffin crossing, which colour follows the green signal? A, steady red, B, flashing green, or C, steady amber?
What a puffin crossing is.
We can come
What
because
are you talking about, man?
Woman.
Are you sure this set of questions isn't from 1952?
You made that last one up.
Wait a minute. I'm gonna guess.
Okay.
Guess.
So just imagine this your theory test. Any answer's better than no answer.
Yeah.
Could you repeat the question, please, sir?
Of course I can. Question 5. At a puffin crossing, which colour follows the green signal? A, steady red, B, flashing green, or C, steady amber?
Okay.
You didn't actually say, but I'm assuming we shouldn't be getting onto Google at this point.
If you could refrain, that'd be tip top.
Yeah.
Right, be happy with that? Well, not happy, but
No,
have
we're
you
not
got
happy
an
with
answer?
that.
No, not happy with that. I don't think any of us are happy with that. But anyway,
Question
I'm
6.
guessing, but yeah.
yeah.
I've got a bit of detail to back that one up. If anyone wants to debate.
No
the
one
answer.
will
I
care.
just
How
need to see
fabulous.
So, question 6. At which type of crossing are cyclists allowed to ride across with pedestrians? A. Puffin, B. Pelican, or C. Toucan?
fucking birds.
Well, that was rude, that.
That's this episode name, then, isn't it? Fucking birds.
You're just making these up.
Yeah, you are.
Really
This
is,
is just
he is.
nonsense.
I do not remember any of these on my theory test.
No, I don't. Well, I didn't do a theory test, but I don't remember any of these.
Verily, I actually know the answer to that one, I think.
Right.
But
Right.
yeah, whatever.
Has everyone got an answer for that one?
I'm
Yeah,
going to
why
guess because I don't know.
Something to
Okay.
do with pigeons, I think. I don't know.
A pigeon
that's it.
crossing. Yeah,
Yeah.
that'll be it. Yeah.
Piggy on. Right, question 7. What is the shortest overall stopping distance on a dry road at 60 miles an hour?
I hate these fucking distance ones.
Not a chance.
A, 73 meters or 240 feet. B, 58 meters and 190 feet. Or C, 96 meters and 315 feet.
Can you
At
repeat the
60
question?
miles an hour.
Can we have a repeat, please?
You may indeed.
Yeah.
What is the shortest overall stopping distance on a dry road at 60 miles an hour? A, 73 meters, 240 feet. B, 58 meters, 190 feet. C, 96 meters, 315 feet.
Surely it depends on the car.
Well, quite.
Sheldon us here. It's
Yeah,
I seem to remember these are all based on data that's about 50 years out of date.
Aren't they
anyway,
all? They're all based on a Ford Anglia, aren't they?
I believe that is correct.
Yes, I think
with
that's
no
true.
brakes.
Yes, a 1967 Ford Anglia.
Right. Now, this is one that is quite interesting in the sense of I'm aware of it, and so is Phil probably, because he and I have at least done a motorcycle theory test in recent years. And it became staggeringly apparent that first aid is part of that now.
oh, for fuck's sake!
So this is a genuine question. You have to treat someone for shock at the scene of an accident. You should
Slap them.
A.
Yes, that's the answer. I don't need the choices. That is the correct answer.
I'm
Tell
afraid that is not
them
listed.
to man up.
Yeah.
Yes, pull themselves
being
together.
not being
You're
a
supposed to be
wuss.
British.
Exactly.
All of these are answers that I'd prefer to what is actually written here. So A, cool them down as soon as possible.
No.
What,
We'll
sit
need-
them inside
Matt
Matt's
will
car?
need his seats for that.
Yeah.
No. I don't think it's that. No.
B, reassure them constantly. C, walk them around to calm them down.
No, really not that one either.
No,
It's
none
one of them.
None
This
of
is all
them.
terrible advice.
Well,
Awful.
So
None
take
of
them for
those
a
would
long,
help.
cold walk while saying you're fine, you're fine, you're fine, you're fine.
No, that's doing all three. No, you just got to pick one. Come on.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to guess the middle one because it's the only one that makes the remotest sense. But anyway,
Vaguest sense.
Yes.
you'll tell us in a minute.
Question 9.
Oh,
That's all
God.
very silly.
It is essential that tyre pressures are checked regularly.
Yeah.
When should this be done? A, after any lengthy journey. B, when the tyres are hot. Or C, when the tyres are cold.
Not while on the move.
If you can attach, then I would say, well done you.
Right, yeah, got that.
Okay, we all got an answer for that.
I
think I've got 2.
And finally,
I think I've got 1.
finally, it'd be upsetting if we didn't get another one on first aid. So,
oh God,
you arrive at an incident where someone is suffering from severe burns. You should, A,
pee on him.
No, they've not been stung by a jellyfish.
That would be unusual.
Well, that's
on
a
the
very
roadside.
common problem on the motorway.
Those jellyfish, they hang under the bridges.
Yeah. Come on, children. Right.
What did you think was going to happen?
I wanted a sensible discussion about the highway.
Well, you're on the
code.
wrong
Modern
podcast.
state.
I was going to say.
I already know the
people-
answer. You take them for a long walk.
Yeah,
Well,
reassuring
cool
them constantly that they're not really burned.
Yeah.
And buy them an ice cream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool them down in Matt's car.
No, it's
Right.
leather. They'll stick to the seats.
No. I need to reel off the actual answers.
Oh, sorry.
Do continue, sir.
Not peeling a burnt ball bag off of his cold seat.
I forgot someone was in charge.
You should, A, burst any blisters.
Oh no.
Oh, it's
Who's
like they know
writing
me.
B, remove anything stuck to the burn, even if it is a big leather seat. Or C, douse the burn with clean, cool, non-toxic liquid.
To not
Yes.
pee.
Well, I suppose it depends what you've been drinking the night before.
If it's coming out cold, you have a serious problem.
Yeah, it's always warm, isn't it? It's always warm.
Yeah, but if you keep a jar in your car,
Well, that just gives rise to further questions.
There's another conversation here, Kaylee.
well, instead of Adam going against the concrete bridge, you could have just peed into a jar.
I'm not travelling with a jar of piss.
Popped it neatly into the glove box. There you go. Keep it for later.
Right, for goodness sake, right.
Oh,
Yeah.
dear.
Never
If you
ever
are
lend you
answers-
one of my cars again.
Let's see who's passed their theory test, shall we?
Oh, fuck.
Oh,
Well,
none of us.
I don't
Speak
even
for
know what the pass score is, so I'll decide at the end of it. Right, question 1. What age can you apply for a provisional license? So, what answers did we give?
I gave B.
B was 16 years old. That's 2 Bs. Mike, Matt, what have you got for this?
Well, you didn't specify what type of vehicle.
The question does not specify that either. So.
No, so therefore I assumed moped, and therefore I assumed that you can apply, I believe is the same for a car, you can apply 3 months before the relevant birthday, so I went with 15 years and 9 months.
Mike?
I went with B, 16.
We have a winner, and it is Matt.
Oh,
His logic is sound.
His Rain Man logic.
His Rain Man logic has won through.
So, that's good. So we've got one for Matt. Well, you can keep your own scores. You don't need me for that. Right. 2. What document names a car's registered keeper?
C.
HMRC.
Oh, I'm glad it's not.
Oh, they tax you a bit more for that, wouldn't they, if it was?
Oh, they will.
I
They
said
will.
V5.
Yes, A, V5.
Yeah.
V5. I have
Yeah.
seen 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're all good on that.
Very
That's
familiar
why
with those.
Everyone's a winner on questions.
They print me my own special ones now.
I was going to say, Phil, do you actually... you must have occasions with your turnover of vehicles where do you actually sell them on before you've got the V5 actually back in your name?
No, that's never happened. No.
I call bullshit, but okay.
I think he's got a license to make his own now. He doesn't have to wait for them.
Yeah, I'll just print them out. They send me a
Yeah.
stack of blank ones.
There you go.
Oh dear. Right.
We can't keep up with you.
Quickly, question 3. Unless shown otherwise, what is the speed limit on a single carriageway that has street lights? Answers.
120.
Yes.
A.
A 30. Okay.
A30.
A30.
I say 30 as well.
Okay. Points all round there. A is the correct answer.
Good.
Question 4. You should leave at least a 2-second gap between your vehicle and the one in front when conditions are
Dry.
Good.
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 Yep.
Good.
You should always leave a 2-second gap. It doesn't matter what the conditions are, I think, with what they would say.
Well, actually,
Minimum, isn't it? Yeah.
Minimum,
Yeah.
because wet conditions are 4 seconds, icy conditions are 10.
What's fog?
Fog, that's when you can't see much because the clouds are low.
Well played.
The distance, you twat.
That's when your forward vision is obstructed, but that's not important right now.
And side. And rear.
Very good.
I'm sorry about that, love. That just seemed like an open goal. I went for it. Well, I don't know the answer to the actual question, so I'll guess 10. So, at everyone's favourite question, this one. At
Right.
a puff.
Bring this
No.
fucking picture up. I want to know what one of these is.
Wait a minute. At a puffin crossing, which colour follows the green signal? Was it A, steady red, B, flashing green, or C, steady amber?
I guessed C.
D, there's no such thing.
I've gone for amber.
Puffin cleaners.
I didn't know what a puffin crossing was, but I've just gone with what happens at traffic lights. Steady amber.
Steady amber.
I went with, because I haven't got a clue either, I went with A, steady red, but that's just a guess.
What?
So, we have
A puffin crossing is basically traffic lights.
Yep. Stupid name for it. And everyone who guessed steady amber there was correct.
Yeah.
Was that C?
Yes.
Yay!
Oh, I just leant on my list and got an entirely different set of up there. I accidentally went in. I'm using quick notes and I lent on one, which is a list of breweries in the UK that I wish to visit.
Well, we all need a list like that.
And which ones I've already
focus on that if you like.
Christ!
Yeah.
How many's there?
There's quite a lot, and there's a note next to each of them now that say that are plotted. I've got a custom Google map to show where they are in the UK, so that I can plan the road trip.
Oh my word!
So again, let's go back to what I was actually doing.
You mean the taxi trip because you're going to be doing it responsibly?
No, but you have to sleep. Yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Question 6. At which type of crossings are cyclists allowed to ride across with pedestrians?
I'm going to go with A then.
A, puffin, B, pelican, C, toucan.
I went with C, toucan.
What the hell
As
is a
did I.
toucan one?
As
Yep,
did I.
went with
It's the one that
puffin.
looks like a start-finish straight, where you've got the zebra crossing, and then there's some white squares conveniently located either
And
side.
the naming of that was convenient in the sense of toucan cross.
Toucan.
Because a
Very
puffin
good.
crossing, cyclists are allowed to cross, but they are meant to dismount.
Mm. So does that mean toucan was right then?
Toucan was right, yes.
Toucan is right. Okay,
Fantastic.
good.
Oh, marvellous.
Now, this next question is about Phil and his Anglia.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
what is the shortest overall stopping distance on a dry road at 60 miles an hour?
I
What
guess
have we got?
B, but I'm guessing I'm wrong.
B was the shortest distance you guessed there was 58 meters, 190 feet.
I went with
Yeah.
C, given
C?
how out of date this is.
96
Yeah,
meters.
Yeah, I went with C as well.
So we got a B and 3 C's.
But it's going to
Yeah.
The answer is obviously A.
be A.
Oh,
So, now moving on to everyone's Florence Nightingale first question.
Oh.
You have to treat someone for shock at the scene of an incident. You should what?
B.
Give them chocolate.
B, reassure.
Be reassured, well, you actually did give someone chocolate.
Yeah,
You were asked for chocolate.
I was asked for chocolate, but I did actually answer the question with reassure.
Yes, so did I.
Reassure them constantly.
You're okay. You're okay. You're okay. You're okay.
That's
You're
it,
okay.
you
That's going to get really annoying, isn't it?
Yeah.
Take their mind off it because they want to punch you. Question 9. It is essential that tyre pressures are checked regularly. When should this be done? What do we have for this?
Cold.
Old.
Sea cold.
I
Yes.
guess sea cold.
Sea
yeah.
cold, sea cold. All of them are correct. Sea cold.
Good. We've all got good tyre pressures then.
Well, just because you
didn't
know
say
doesn't
we've
mean you're
done it.
measuring it.
Yeah, true.
There should have been an option D though.
What?
Make your husband go and check it when the time's correct.
Yeah.
Or E, kick them. And just looks about right.
Yeah.
Or F, buy a car with tyre pressure sensors and it'll tell you. Just
I
saying.
think that's actually, no, to be fair, a bonus point, I think, there, Mr. Chairman. I think that's a very salient point.
Yeah, because what are they going to do with all these Teslas and all that stuff? Because loads of people are buying Teslas and electrics.
All right.
and-
Let me
Yeah,
go
but
another way.
if it's a Tesla, they'll be broken, so you'll have to check them manually anyway.
Or using that piece of shit Volvo that your dad had for 4 years, having driven that a lot, it constantly said your tyre pressures are low. Always. Every time I got in it and started, it went, your tyre pressures are low. I got out, checked it, it went, no, they're not. So it's like, that's not a reliable indicator, I'm afraid. So no bonus points back in the bottom.
Okay. All right. Sorry, sir.
That's right, yeah. Deducting if you
Back in your box.
suggest anything. Huh. Right.
yes, skinning them alive.
That's it, yeah. Well, maybe if there's any skin left, because it does say they're burnt severely. You
does.
arrive at
That's
an
always a
incident
brilliant.
where someone is suffering from severe burns. What should you do?
Burst the blisters.
I know
Oh.
you
Cool
want
liquid.
water.
Cool liquid.
That's not
Cool,
nice.
yeah, cold water,
Cold
liquid, whatever it is. Yeah,
That's
lemonade
correct.
over it or something. Yeah.
Oh yeah, bit of fizz, that one. Right, okay then.
Yes.
So I think everyone got that right, despite them wanting to burst blisters. Okay, total up. What we got? Who's allowed to drive on the public roads?
1, 2, 3.
Well, it depends.
I
Have
mean-
you decided what the pass
Seven.
rate is yet before
Well,
we announce?
that depends on what your scores are.
7.
7.
Yeah,
I'd call
I've
7 a
got-
pass.
I've got 7 as well.
Okay.
I'm embarrassed to say I got 9, but 3 of them were complete guesses that happened to be
Just
right.
guesses.
I think as Quizmaster and Highway Code Adjudicator.
8 was the pass mark.
No, I think that they're actually isn't 75% the pass rate on. No,
So we all failed.
no, I think it might
apart from
actually be
Matt.
lower on a theory test.
Like 67.
I think it
or
was
something
60 something.
stupid.
Yeah. So actually, everyone is fine. You all got you. I'll issue with you with your certificates later.
Oh, I
In a
can't
similar
wait.
vein to
Oh,
electrical. Yeah, just keep an eye out in your inbox for those. So there you go. We've updated our fleets. We've moaned about broken cars, and we sort of know the highway code. And why on earth they've started introducing first aid into it? Because it's just
Because drivers have got worse and they're going to crash. And if you come upon that bad driver that's crashed, you need to be able to help them.
well, what's the point though?
Because
if
you haven't got any ambulances because they haven't got the money to fund them.
well,
So you are the ambulance now.
That's a valid point.
It's a can of worms. Oh
Yeah.
God! Yeah, but who wants me dishing out first aid?
The
Well,
last thing you'll see is you coming in for some mouth to mouth.
Oh,
no, you don't have to
Oh.
do mouth to mouth now.
Oh no, you can do Vinnie Jones with his staying alive thing. He's not
Yeah.
sticking his tongue down the gob, is he? He's just pumping them. Not like that.
What, by the side of the road?
Yeah. Oh God. Right. Okay, so everyone's passed, everyone's got their theory test, everyone's cars sort of work. Well, Matt's actually works really well.
Yeah. He's done well there.
And until tomorrow.
Oh yeah, I've just ruined that.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
My apologies.
Speeding tickets.
Oh shit! Yeah, no, I wrote that down. Speeding ticket. What were you going to say before we?
Kaylee.
Oh yeah.
Why does there have to be a woman with a memory on this call? Honestly.
Go on then.
Oh, so okay. I went to see my mother on Christmas Day, which is the first time I'd seen my mother on Christmas Day for 27 years. And driving back to where we were staying at that time, after visiting my mother for the first time on Christmas Day for 27 years, I got a speeding ticket going through Sunning Hill, and I was clocked doing 36 in a 30 on Christmas Day.
Oh.
And I can't decide whether to be embarrassed, pissed off, or
any of the above. I mean,
proud.
there we are. And I'm now faced with a quandary which I have been faced with twice before, which is, do I spend another 4 hours contemplating painless methods of suicide in a group environment where all of us 40 pluses are made to feel like school children for a cost of £100, or do I just pay the £100 and take the 3 points? I'm probably just gonna take the points, to be honest, because at my age it makes no difference to my insurance. Having had more before, and it made no difference to my insurance. But so there we go. That's the latest story, and thanks very much, Kaylee, for reminding Adam to ask me.
Can you not do speed awareness courses online now?
You could during COVID. I don't know if that's
they did them over Zoom, didn't they?
I don't know if that's a permanent thing, though.
Yeah, but I mean, it doesn't matter whether Matt is there in person or online, because I just get the feeling you wouldn't give a toss in the slightest, and you would say, if I was leaving my mother's again, I would drive as quick as possible. I think that's what we've learnt from your speeding there. Just going, get out.
Pretty much. Pretty much. Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah.
I think I would take the points. I don't think I could cope with doing the course.
I've done 2 before. I mean, clearly they're, not
they're not working well.
Not working. But I mean, come on, 36 in a 30. I mean, that could just be a typing error.
Well, it could, and you've got to think the roads and pavements would have been empty.
Exactly that.
Yeah,
and I was,
true.
and I'm very, I would hope if I'd have been doing 130 down the M4, then fair enough.
Fair dues.
36 in a 30, don't know.
But that could almost be, a margin of error on your speedo, to be honest.
Yeah, they're not going to take that as an argument, though, are they?
I think they do 10%.
They do allow 10%. Yeah,
it's 10%. 10% plus 2.
That's it. Yeah.
You're right.
Oh, so you're really.
That's even worse.
Thanks, Kaylee. So you've made me feel even better now.
just the 1 mile an hour out now.
Just a 1 mile an hour.
It used to be 10% plus 3.
No.
It did.
And 1 mile an hour has turned you from legal to maniac.
Yeah.
When I know you towards your years of dotage, Mr. Clark, I do very much hope by that stage that we will be talking about your lovely second wife.
Well, she is my lovely second wife.
She is, in fact, your second wife.
Oh, God, no, we can't go into that, though. We need a whole podcast for that.
That's a whole other thing now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dear.
Well, that's it then. It's £100 and 3 points, isn't it? And I just will never speak of this again.
Yeah.
We will. Don't worry. Marvellous. Well, thank you. You've You've come on to celebrate our 2 year. Oh shit. And
He's forgotten something.
Yeah, Rob was meant to be here. He should get an honourable mention for stepping in quite a few times.
He should. He got very good at not being me.
Yeah,
yes,
he did. He
Yeah.
stepped in to cover your illness on quite a few occasions, and as chance would have it, he is ill today.
He is himself ill.
Yes, so
It's an unfortunate twist of fate that the best Stuff and Waffle presenter was unavailable this evening.
Oh,
that cuts near. That.
Yeah, that's a bit harsh.
It is.
Bastard. I was in the middle of thanking you, but I'm just going to shove it up your arse.
We're back to Milk Manor again now.
No, that's next week. Don't worry, we'll catch up then. Not a bother. You can rely on us for that. But yes, no. Seriously, thank you for you three, and
thank you.
Well, we'll see you again for the next anniversary celebration. We won't leave it to the second year for some reason. I don't know why we.
I don't know why we missed the first one.
No idea, but it's two blokes trying to organise it. So
I think you were going to do it, but things were happening last year, or someone was ill. You had pneumonia at this time last year, didn't you?
Oh shit! I think I was around. Yeah, I think you could be right. It was in and around.
Happy days.
Oh yeah, that was nice. Enjoyed that.
So what we can get from this podcast is the men that come on this show are really healthy.
Yeah. Hey, hang on.
Oh God, what?
I have been on every episode.
He has. He's the only person who has.
Yeah. Yeah. So
picture of health.
Yeah, that wasn't me coughing.
Do I give away your little secrets where you can have a few weeks off because you do double filming sometimes?
Double filming? No, we haven't done that in ages. We are.
No, we haven't had stuff in the bank for yonks.
No, I mean, if we could get fully techie, and I like that, it's the equivalent in the tech world of being on the bleeding edge, you see.
We're right up to the minute.
Yeah. That's us current. Yeah.
You should next episode see if Chat AI can do you a whole podcast talk.
It didn't actually. We used the.
We did use it.
We did use it for the GoldenEye episode. Yeah, we did the whole GoldenEye review, and at the end, I didn't ask it live because the service has been under huge strain. But I asked it earlier in the day what to summarize GoldenEye, and it got it. It was pretty bang on, wasn't it?
It was pretty good. Yeah. It was quite frightening.
Yeah.
You were quick to point out which bits it got wrong.
No, it didn't get the things that I pointed. It got. We discussed this at the time. I fired it a question about the Lola Formula One team of 1997, and it got that wildly wrong.
Okay.
And I told it got it wrong, and I asked it a week later, and it was bang on.
No, you said bar one thing.
Oh, did I? Oh, it did. Yes, you're right. Yeah, there was one. Oh, yeah, that was it. They were still claiming that they were using V10 engines, and actually they were V8s. Unacceptable.
You're a deeply disturbed individual.
Yes.
It is Rain Man.
Yes, thank you for that. But yes, right. We'll finalise the thanks, and shall leave it there, and we shall resume normal service next week for MILF Manor and vehicles.
Oh dear.
Can't wait.
Look forward to it.
Well, I think that's probably enough of that for this week. Check us out on all the various social medias and things. Thank you very much for listening.